Shaquille O'Neal. So earlier I talked about Stephen A. Smith clapping back at Rashad McCants. But later on in that show, he invited Shaquille O'Neal on, and Shaquille O'Neal came to talk to him. And Shaquille O'Neal let him know what he think about it. And, you know, he didn't appreciate, you know, some of the things he said and how he kind of shunned Kobe out of the conversation, man. So he had his own thoughts about it. And I'm gonna play for you what he said. But before I get to that, man, this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. So like I said, Shaq came in. You know, he's talking to Stephen A. Smith, and they brought up the conversation that he had with Rashad McCants about Kobe Bryant not being number 2, the way Iverson said he was number 2, and the way Rashad McCants was like, look, dude, we all think Kobe is that high. Like, it's a lot of people that think that, right? But here's what Shaq had to say about it.
To belittle that person or, you know, talk about that person, because we as people, we gonna stand on what we stand on. But I have a problem with you know what you said. Like, my thing is, doesn't matter who the GOAT is, my guy should be in the conversation.
Yes.
Don't just no, but hold on. So what Rashad was saying is, like, you guys just throw him out of the conversation. Like, you know, sometimes you have to listen to what people are saying. Like right now, and listen, you know, I love all those guys, and I'm actually jealous that my name is not in the conversation more, but that's neither here nor there. So somehow it just went from Mike to LeBron, and you just threw my guy out of the conversation. His name needs to be in there all the time. Mm-hmm. And when his name is not in there, that's when people have a problem.
I appreciate the correction, but let me ask you this question. As you sit there as a basketball analyst doing a great job that you do on TNT, you know, several nights a week during the NBA season, I've seen you on many occasions question certain things, and you're just talking about the game, and guys personalize it, and you talking about basketball. You didn't insult them. You just talked about what they needed to do, how somebody else may have done it better, particularly in moments, because you ain't just looking at stats. You looked at moments. Knowing you the way that I have over these decades, you didn't just pay attention to numbers. You were talking about who showed up when it was time to show up too. All of those things come into consideration. I look at Kobe. There is nothing on earth to question the greatness of Kobe Bryant, who to me is one of the greatest of all time. But it did help for those first 3 rings that he had you in your prime to some degree.
Like I said earlier, you can't use that criteria to downgrade Kobe down the list because he had Shaq for his first 3 rings, and then in the same sentence uplift Magic for having 5 rings and getting all 5 of them with Kareem.
That's not the point. The point everybody is making is don't leave him out the conversation.
I'm not leaving him out the conversation.
You are. You always say, you always say GOAT. The GOAT is LeBron or Mike.
No, I never said it's LeBron. It's always Mike. Okay. It's always Mike for me.
Well,
I say him. Number 2 is LeBron.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. But I always hear Mike and LeBron, and I used to hear Mike and Kobe, and now
that's interesting. We did hear Mike and Kobe. Right. So when Kobe first started balling out of control, like he was, I mean, I still remember the TNT crew was fresh, and they was just in awe of Kobe. Everybody was, especially before Denver. Everybody was in awe of him, and the Jordan comparisons was there because he looked and did everything like MJ. So the comparisons was naturally there. Now they did say, but he is playing behind Shaq, and that's why he was real eager to get away from Shaq so he can prove everybody. But right when he got rid of Shaq, the Denver, Colorado thing happened, and the NBA kind of separated themselves from him a little bit, and you know he had to kind of earn his way back into the good graces of the NBA, and he did. And then he got more help for his team, and then he won 2 more rings. But by that time, LeBron was in the league, and Wade was in the league, and it was a whole new slew of young guys, Carmelo, and they wasn't really having that conversation of Kobe and the GOAT conversation. They was already thinking about LeBron at that moment, even though Kobe was still the best in the league. Now, my point is this: if Kobe Bryant, as far as how he played, had you comparing him to Michael Jordan, how does that turn into, okay, now we got LeBron, and what Rashad McCants was saying was like, we get it. Kobe was getting compared to Mike, but at some point everybody realized Kobe wouldn't never go past Mike. All right, so okay, you're there, and then here comes LeBron, a new guy. And instead of them saying, oh, it's 3 guys right there clustered up together, instead of them doing that, they said, no, we got a new guy in LeBron. Let's take Kobe and drop him all the way down. So in order for you to compare him to Mike, that means you had to bring him past Kareem, Magic, Bird, Oscar, and compare him to the guy at the tippy top. So if you brought him past all of those guys and compared him to Mike, then when LeBron showed up, how did Kobe drop under all the guys that he passed to start getting the comparisons? And the answer is, it's all for LeBron. The only reason why he's dropped that way is for LeBron. It's crowded up there. You can't compare 2 guys to him, because now you got to figure out which guy is supposed to, the guys is battling for number 2, Kobe and LeBron. You got to figure that out. And they don't want to figure that out. They're rather just say, nah, Kobe's not it. It's LeBron. That he's the choice.
Mike and LeBron. My thing is, it has to be those 3 guys. And if you want to get technical, Dr. J need to be in there too.
No.
Because he started all this.
No.
Ain't no.
No, it is no. I love Dr. J, but it's no.
Hey. Dr. J started all this.
Okay. He started, but that don't make him the GOAT, though.
And Magic.
Yes, so I had Magic up in there too. I said, but that don't make him the GOAT. I got Magic as the greatest point guard of all time.
Listen, it doesn't matter who you or I think the GOAT is.
Okay.
Certain people can be in a conversation, certain people can't.
Okay.
And I just think before y'all say 1 and 2, you can't leave my guy out. So I can kind of understand why Rashad was getting upset, especially with Kobe not being here. It just makes it like, and like I kind of heard with his point, it was like you just trying to throw him away. And, we would never do that. And I know you would never do that.
I would never do that.
You and Kobe had a great relationship. But his name needs to be in that conversation when you talk about the greatest of all time.
But what I had to tell Rashad earlier was that Kobe and I had that conversation. Because I told Kobe, because Kobe like, what do you mean? I said, Kobe, I got Mike. You know what I'm saying? I got LeBron, who's been around quite a long time and is versatile with 6'9", 260 and all of this.
Yeah, so
I
nothing about what he can do on the court yet.
I look at Bill Russell. I said, people used to get on me because I didn't bring up Wilt Chamberlain. Here was my issue with Wilt Chamberlain. Your number 1 nemesis was Bill Russell. He had 11 titles. You had 2. And that was your number 1 nemesis. So I'm not questioning the greatness of Wilt Chamberlain, but how can I put you against a dude that was your nemesis that's got 9 more titles than you? So it's like, it's a basketball conversation, and that's all I'm saying. And that's something you and I talked about. Yeah, you could throw people in the conversation, but you got to make a decision. Remember I told you that? You got to make a decision, and you got to pick one.
You got to make a decision.
I picked.
And then as a society, like me and you came into the game arguing, but we always had that respect for each other.
Right.
You wrote an article. I called myself jumping on you. You jumped back and you told me why you wrote the article. And I was like, okay, watch this. The next time I saw you, okay, big boy. But so we still could respect each other. And so I don't mind people having even heated conversations. So almost going to blows. But as long as the respect is there, I think this world will be a better place. Right now, you got a lot of disrespect and this and that.
I agree.
But again, I don't mind people talking about who their GOAT is, but you definitely got to have my boy in that conversation.
I definitely will, and I definitely will. Shaq, I'm gonna let you go for now, man. Happy New Year, big boy. Tex Johnson. Shaq. Is it
definitely got to have Kobe in there, man. It doesn't make sense for you to have Michael Jordan in high regard and say that, man, he's such a great player on the floor, and you talk about the things that he do on the floor, and then watch Kobe and notice that he do the exact same things on the floor, to the point where Phil Jackson said the only thing that's different from Kobe and Mike is Michael's hands. He said everything else is the same. The mentality, the work ethic, offense, defense, all of that stuff. He said all of it was the same. The difference was Mike had those big mitts. That's what he said. So for Kobe to be that close to Mike, you can't have Mike 1 and untouchable and have Kobe number 10. And have all these guys in front of him, including LeBron. It don't make sense. Kobe and Mike have complete games, and LeBron game is very much incomplete. And then on top of that, his resume is just put together. You know, it's just a fabricated, manufactured, cooked up resume. You get what I'm saying? Is the difference between someone like, you know, I don't know if you ever worked somewhere where you had to do time cards. Is the difference of someone actually getting out there and doing work, which what Mike and Kobe did. Like, I'm going, you know, the end result is getting the ring, right? So everything in between getting the ring is part of it. Is you got to get in that gym, especially if you're the best player, and you got to work your tail off on your game, not just work on your body and lift weights and stay in shape, which was what LeBron stays in shape and he lifts and he take care of his body and all of that stuff. But I'm talking about going in there and working on your game. Like, there's no way you should be a bad free throw shooter in year 21 and you play on the wing and shoot as much as you do and shoot as many threes as you do and be a 30% three-point shooter as bad as like you bricking them and airballing free throws, and your shot mechanic is just bad, and sometimes it's different when you shoot it. You don't even have a consistency in your jump shot. Elbow way out. Leaning to the left. You can't even come straight up on a jump shot. You got to lean to the left. Let me tell you something about right-handers when they shoot. Fadeaways and turnaround jump shots over the left shoulder is easy for us, because when you're leaning to the left, your right hand is naturally it helps you line everything up. And, you know, it's easier to do it way. Going this way, if you're right-handed, going to your right is the hardest, right? So that's when I first started making consistent jump shots, it was turnarounds and fadeaways, and it was just because that natural way it helps you line everything up. But like just come pull it up, you know what I mean? So I can tell by the way LeBron leans left on his jump shot, I can tell why he does that, right? Right. So I say all that to say this dude's still on the elementary level. He hasn't even perfected his jump shot yet, man. Come on, man. This is not the GOAT, fellas. Like, this is not, man. Come on, man. You can't shoot free throws. Even Karl Malone can shoot and shoot free throws. Karl Malone is huge. So don't blame it on your shoulders and your physique. Don't blame it on that. Karl Malone shoots just well. Come on, man. It's not the GOAT. The GOAT can't shoot free throws, really? The GOAT lead the league in all-time turnovers, really? Y'all got to be kidding me.